Hi, this is Martin Smith, and this is another edition of Tech Talks. I'm here with my friend and WTE CEO Eric Garrison, and Eric is going to help me understand something that's really been confusing to me of late. DKIM, DMARC, and SPF.
Yeah.
I mean, SPF to me is like sunscreen. So,
right, yeah. So funny tangent story on this is myself and another person were having a conversation about this, and a third party was listening in on the conversation and goes, "Do you realize you just had a 5-minute conversation and didn't use any whole words?"
You used nothing but acronyms.
Nothing but acronyms. And the topic we were talking about was that their company is being hit kind of hard by not being compliant with Google's new DKIM regulations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are Google's DKIM regulations?
So if you're sending bulk mail, and where this has become into play is everybody thinks bulk mail as in I'm spamming. No. If you're sending large volumes, you may or may not get flagged as bulk mail. So in this case, they were sending legitimate transaction emails. It was notifications to customers in the volume that they had with the same subject line going to those customers was getting flagged by Google.
Oh, because they thought they were spamming. And all they were doing was confirming purchase or something.
It was funny. It was the people who have earned a credit. So the best customers who have earned a value credit, their emails didn't get delivered.
So that's what happens if you don't have it in place, if you don't have DKIM in place.
And DMARC, yeah.
And DMARC. So what exactly is DMARC and DKIM?
So you have 3 levels.
Okay.
SPF, that's your Sender Policy Framework. That is a record that goes into the DNS record that is meant to say these mail servers are authorized on my behalf to send email.
Okay.
So that is the start. You have to have your SPF first.
Okay.
Then you go to DKIM, that's an encryption header. So you say that mail 1 is allowed to send out email on my behalf, or constant contact, or some product, and then you put those in your SPF, then you put into those servers a DKIM header.
Okay.
And the DKIM header is going to have a private and a public. Private key goes into the server, public key goes into the DNS. The mail messages themselves get a header in them. And there's actually ways to see this in Google now, whether it had a DKIM header and passes. So it's now going to tag every message going outbound with this encrypted block, about this big inside the HTML of the message.
Okay, and so you're doing this because
when Google or other mail servers receive this, they go, okay, is this a legitimate mail message? And from Tesco, let's say. So I'm going to receive a mail message from Tesco. Yep, this mail server is allowed. Is this mail message encrypted with it? Yep, it's got the right DKIM header.
Okay.
So.
And then DMARC is something, where does that fit in?
That is really a record of what to do when things don't match.
Oh.
So it's the rule, it's the enforcement. So the underline is not going to help people stop spam and stop spoofing your domain, because what you don't want to do if you're Tesco is you don't want people sending out messages on your behalf.
Right.
Hey, come buy gift cards from us.
Right.
And they're not legitimate sources.
I've gotten some of those from my bank, which really aren't from my bank.
Correct, yeah.
It looks and talks like Wells Fargo, but it's not Wells Fargo.
Right. And this is in place specifically for the banks and Wells Fargo. I mean, we've done it now for about 50 financial institutions. We've helped them become DKIM and DMARC compliant. So that DMARC level, and we typically put monitoring in place to monitor how much is being spoofed and what failure levels you have. So the DMARC is going to say, if this message does not have the DKIM pass, I want you to quarantine it, or I want you to ignore it and kick it away. Mm-hmm. And what you really get to is that reject level. Mm-hmm. So you start off with a monitoring level, then you go to a quarantine level, then you go to reject. And everybody is pushing you to get to that reject.
Gotcha.
And what happens to a lot of people in the IT front is they will set up that first level and think that they're done and let it bake there until they stop getting good email deliverability.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's amazing. The other day I got one of those spoofing, and they had misspelled words. They're supposed to be from Wells Fargo, and they were misspelling stuff.
Yes.
So, I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This has been great. Now I understand DKIM, SPF, and DMARC, thanks to Eric. If you like that and you feel like you understand it better, please like and subscribe, and look for another edition of Tech Talks.